All right, guys, I'm going to try this again. I videotaped it through YouTube and it did not read the video. So we're going to take 2 on this one. All right, Unit 4 study guide. Apologize for the lateness of it. If you didn't see the message on the blog, poor Miss Tay locked everything in her car, including her keys, after school and was not able to get everything done how we had wanted to for you. So here goes the quick and dirty study guide. You ready? Number 1, it says give 3 values for H that makes the inequality H is greater than 12 true. Well, any number that's greater than 12 is going to make this true. It cannot be 12, but it has to be greater than. So it could be 13, it could be 47, and it could be 352. As long as that number is greater than 12, it will make that inequality true. For number 2, it says which value is not a solution for the inequality P is less than or equal to 5.9. So we're looking at each one of these values to see which one will not make this inequality true. And that will be our answer. So 6.9, is that less than or equal to 5.9? Nope. 2.4, is that less than or equal to 5.9? Yes, it is. 3.0, is that less than or equal to 5.9? Sure is. How about 4.5, is that less than or equal to 5.9? Yes, it is. So the only one that will not work, which then becomes your answer, is A. For 3 and 4, we are solving for our variable. So we're finding our variable, figuring out what is being done to it, and then doing the inverse. So here for solving for x is being multiplied by 3.5. So the inverse of multiplying by 3.5 is to divide by 3.5. Remember in algebra, we turn it all into a fraction. The 3.5s will cross out because it becomes 1, which leaves you with 1x, and 70 divided by 3.5 equals 20. For number 4, we are solving for y. Y minus 24 equals 72. Well, y is being subtracted by 24, so we're going to do the inverse of that, which is to add 24 to both sides. Whatever you do to one, you have to do to the other, which will leave you with y equals 96 when we add that up. All right, we go to our word problem. Let me zoom out a little bit. Sean went to the concession stand at a football game and bought 2 hot dogs for $8 each. So he gets 2 hot dogs, 2 times hot dogs, or 2H. He also, because it says and a soda for S dollars. He gets 1 soda for S. So now we have 2H, 2 hot dogs, plus a soda. That stays together because that's what he's purchasing. He is paying for his food with $50 bill. So are we going to be adding what he is spending to the $50, or are we subtracting it? Well, we are subtracting it. So 50 minus 2H plus S. And our instructions tell us to write an expression for how much change we should receive. So we didn't actually have to solve this one. We just had to write how we would solve it. So there's no equal sign. Remember, expressions do not have equal signs. Number 6, a rectangular lawn has a length of 4x feet and a width of 7x minus 9 feet. Write the expression that represents the area of this rectangle. So again, we're writing an expression, which means that we will not have an equal sign. Before we can do that though, let's make sure that we are remembering that to find area, we're doing length times width. So now I can take my information and plug that in. So I have 4x times, and my width is 7x minus 9. And remember, when you have a number or a number with a variable right next to the parentheses, that's going to show multiplication. So there's your expression, 4x times 7x minus 9, I apologize. Number 7, we have John's Lawn Service charges a one-time fee of $18. So no matter what, they're going to charge $18 in addition to $10 per hour worked. In addition, that means plus $10 per hour worked, per 10 each hour, right? Now, when we're looking at the next part, it says, write an expression that represents how much money John would charge if he worked N hours. when we have a given variable, that's n, stands for the hours, now I have to take my $18, and to that I am adding 10 times n, because it's 10 times the number of hours worked plus my $18. All right, on to page number 2. When we're looking at this one up at the top, I know it has fractions in it, but we've been working with fractions for an awfully long time. You worked with them specifically in 4th and 5th grade, and we've also worked with them at the beginning of this year. So again, we are solving for x. What is being done to x? It's being added by 2/3. So we are doing the inverse, which means that we are subtracting 2/3 from each side. This side is going to cross off my 2/3, leave us with 1x. Now on this side, we can't just go ahead and cross or start subtracting. So those of you who did 4 minus 2 and you told me it was 2/3 or 2/5, can't do that. Remember, when you are adding or subtracting your fractions, you need to have common denominators. So we need to create common denominators. And our common denominator for the 5 and the 3 is going to be 15. 3 times 5 gets you to the 15. Whatever you do to the bottom, you got to do to the top. And then here, 5 times 3 gets you to 15. So again, 4 times 3 gives you 12. So now that we have common denominators, we can go ahead and subtract. 12 minus 10 gives you 2/15. So x equals 2/15. All right, number 9, we have Ryan earns $50 each week at a computer store. Write an equation. Back up a little bit. Write an equation Ryan could use to find W, the number of weeks he has to work in order to earn $950. So we know that his total take home has to be $950. That's what he wants to earn. And we know that each week he's going to get paid $50. So $50 times the number of weeks will get you to the $950. So then if we're solving this, we're multiplying by 50. So we're going to divide by 50. And then I'm going to have to write it over here. I ran out of room. I made it too big. W equals 19 weeks. So it'll take him 19 weeks in order to earn 900. Whoopsies. There we go. It'll take him 19 weeks in order to earn $950. All right, number 10. We have over summer break, Mackenzie and 4 of her friends started a pet sitting business. The first month they earned $856. If they divide the money equally, how much would each person earn? Well, hopefully the first thing you did was to figure out that it's Mackenzie and 4 of her friends, so that we have 5 people total. And we know that they earned $856. The problem tells us that we're going to be dividing that money equally. So I'm taking my total, $856, and I have to divide that by the 5 friends who are working, which will give me one, let's see, do I have a variable for that? Divide the money equally to see how much a person would earn. So let's just call it E. And then when I am working through this problem, I have 856 divided by 5. When I go through that, that will give me, instead of $171.20. They'll each earn $171.20. So 856 divided by 5. And again, you will be able to use your calculators. You could use them on the study guide, and you will be able to use them tomorrow on the test. All right, number 11. Ashley charges $10 per hour each that she babysits. Last week, the total amount she earned by babysitting was $70. Write an equation that could be used to find the number of hours that Ashley babysat. So we know that she makes $10 per hour. She made a total of $70. We know she's made that $70. We know that the way she did that was by working some number of hours, and for each hour she got paid $10. We're doing the inverse. Instead of multiplying by 10, we are dividing by 10, which is going to give me H equals 7. So she's working for a total of 7 hours. The other way you could have written that was $70 is how much she makes, and we are dividing that by the number of hours, which would give us that $10. That's the other way you could have looked at it, but this really is how we're solving it. All right, number 12. Let's see. We have the Glee Club is having a fundraiser selling novelty cups. Their goal is to make a profit of $1,200. So if they receive $2.40 per cup, and the cups are being shown with the variable of C, how many cups do they need to sell to make a profit of $1,200? We have to write an equation that can be used to find C, the number of cups the Glee Club needs to sell. So we know that they're going to make $2.40 per cup, telling us that in the problem. We know that their goal is to make $1,200. So I am going to, instead of multiplying by $2.40, I'm going to divide each by $2.40. That will give me 1,200 divided by 240 is 500 cups. So there's 500 cups that need to be sold. Number 13, we're getting into our inequalities. Write the inequality that represents the solution to the number line. So first off, I want to take a look at my circle. It is open. So if it is open, that tells me that 35 is not included in my solution. So that number 35 is not going to be included. But I know that the numbers that are included are all going to be greater than 35. So that tells me that X has to, I apologize. Let me just try that again. X has to be greater than 35. It will not include 35. It has to be greater than 35. All right, I'm going to go to our next page. And we have number 14. Number 14, which inequality represents the solution set for 6, 7, and 8? All three of those have to be a solution that work in the inequality. So for this one, I'm going to write 6, 7, and 8 right here. And I'm going to ask myself the question, is 6 greater than 9? No. Is 7 greater than 9? No. Is 8 greater than 9? No. None of these satisfy this inequality. So A cannot be my answer. B, same thing. 6, 7, and 8. Is 6 less than 9? Sure is. 7 less than 9? Yep. Is 8 less than 9? It is. So that is a solution or inequality for our solution set. Now this one actually has an extra one accidentally. I don't think we really meant to do that, but let's keep going. 6, 7, and 8. Is 6 greater than or equal to 9? No. Is 7 greater than or equal to 9? Nope, too few. 8 is still less than, it's not greater than, so C cannot be. But when we try this with our D, 6 is less than or equal to 9. 7 is less than or equal to 9, and 8 is also less than or equal to 9. So this one, as an oops, ends up with two answers that are correct, the B and the D. So if you got both of those down, good for you. You have that correct. All right, let's take a look at number 15. Number 15, when we're looking at it, says which inequality statement represents G is less than 40? You're just reading each one of them and trying to figure out which one is less. These numbers have to be 39, 38. They have to be less than. So Jaleel needs to make more than $40 at IHOP. Well, more, that would be 41, 42. So that can't be right because we said our answer has to be less than 40. At least 40 students must sign up for the career fair. Well, if it's at least 40, that means it could be 40. At least is telling me that more could also sign up. So it could be 41, 42, 300 could sign up for the career fair. So that will not work either. C, customers younger than 40 qualify for the young generation discount. So younger means less. So that could mean a 39-year-old could qualify, a 25-year-old could qualify. So when we're looking at this one, are 29, 39, 49, or sorry, 29 or 39, are those all less than 40? They are. So C is your correct answer for that one. And then that last one, the amount needed to fill the kiddie pool is at least 40 gallons. At least tells me that it has to be 40 or more, and that would not work for our inequality. Number 16, we have write the algebraic inequality that represents this graph. We're looking at a closed circle. Closed circle means that it includes the 2 in this situation. So when I am writing this down, it has to have an equal as part of my inequality. And then when I'm looking at these numbers, are these numbers getting bigger or are they getting smaller? They're getting smaller, all right? 1, 0, -1. So my answer is x is less than or equal to the number 2. Number 17, Eddie bought a candy bar for $1.50 and 4 other items that cost X dollars each. Write an equation that represents the total cost equaling C. So I know he got a candy bar for $1.50 and 4 other items that cost X dollars each. 4 times X, or we can write that and represent it with 4X. Right? So all of that is going to equal C, a total cost. I am adding in my information of $1.50 plus 4X, and that will equal C. And that's the equation for this one. You didn't have to solve it. You just had to write the equation. Number 18, a football team is selling cupcakes as a fundraiser. Based on the table, write an equation that represents the situation. You are trying to figure out how you get 240 from 20, how you get 720 from 60. So what are we doing each time? Well, normally we would say 20 times something equals 240. 60 times something equals 720. Because these are bigger numbers, your strategy should be to divide, do the opposite. So instead of multiplying here, we're dividing. 240 divided by 20, that's going to give you 12. 72 divided by 60, that's going to give you 12. So to solve for this, if you have B, you have to multiply that B, because here's our B here, that's what they're using instead of X. You're multiplying that B value, the box of cupcakes, by 12 in order to get to the money earned, which is Y. All right, the last one, we'll do that top one on this sheet, but then I have another sheet that I'm going to show you for the bottom one because I've already filled in the graph. So number 19, it says the equation Z equals 12W represents the number of miles Z that Zora travels for W weeks. Fill in the table to match this equation. Every W is multiplied by 12. So 3 times 12 will give you Z. 6 times 12 will give you Z. 9 times 12 and 12 times 12. All of those are going to give you that value for Z. And then it just becomes a multiplication. 36, they've already given us 72 here, 108, and then 144. So those are taken care of. All right, now for this bottom question, like I said, I'm going to bring in this one that's already been filled in so that you can see everything. It says, at Traster's Car Emporium, the top car salesperson, Tay, averages 20 cars sold per month. This is represented by the equation Y equals 20X. Their second salesperson, Shannon, averages 10 cars per month, which is represented by the equation Y equals 10X. Graph the sales rates of both car salespersons or salespeople. Now, before you can graph this information, I very strongly urge you to make a table. I just did a simple T-chart, boom and boom. And then above that, I put in what the equations were. So Y equals 20X for Tay, and then for Shannon, Y equals 10X. They did not give us the amount of months that were worked. So when they don't give it to us in class, I know both Miss Tay and I talked about using 1, 2, 3 or 0, 1, 2, 3. Keep those numbers simple to help you fill in those graphs. Then I'm just applying my equation. 1 times 20 gives me 20. 2 times 20 gives me 40. I'm filling those in. Same here. 1 times 10 gives me 10. 2 times 10 gives me 20. I'm filling in the information there. I went ahead and put the brackets around these so that it would remind you that your table becomes your coordinates. So you have your X coordinate, you have your Y coordinate. Then let's come over to the graph. Before you started graphing, hopefully you figured out what your scale was. And while these are counted by 20s, there were 5 boxes between. So each box was worth 4. And you'd need that for figuring out Shannon's. And then we are placing our dots, connecting them through. And you can see that Tay, her sales increase at a higher rate because her line is going up faster. And then you have Shannon's, and that one is still going up. It's still increasing, and it's increasing by the same amount each time, but this is increasing for every month. It's going up by 10, and then Tay's is going up for every month. It's going up by 20. And so that shows you that Tay has more sales than Shannon. Thanks, guys. Have a great night. We will see you tomorrow.